Well, hello, my friends. I'm excited to be here with Dr. Baron Breland. He is the artistic director for the River City Mixed Chorus. Baron, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, and great to be here.
I have to tell you, I'm excited about learning more about what this organization is, what River City Mixed Chorus is. I feel like I've known you for years. I've known this organization for years, and there is celebrating 40 years. There's a big concert coming up in June.
Yep,
But the first question, let's just tell us more about the organization and the work that you do.
sure. So the River City Mixed Chorus is a community choir based here in Omaha, but serving all of the metro area. Has a mission about building community, about enriching lives. It is primarily centered on queer people and queer people allies. So it is a safe place for people to come together and sing. Not only do they create incredible music, but it's music that matters. A lot of our concerts have messages of hope, of perseverance, of love, of bringing people together and building community. It's a it's a beautiful, safe space, not only for the members, but for their audiences.
Yeah. And you have been the artistic director, we were talking about 12 years.
About 12 years,
Okay.
yeah.
And kind of how did that happen? I mean, what brought you to this position?
Sure. So I moved to Omaha to teach music at Creighton University, where I still am at Creighton, just not teaching music. But I got an email from someone who's been in the organization almost since the beginning, that they were doing an artistic director search and they were looking for a conductor. And I went tentatively to an audition, a young, I don't know how old I was. We don't say that on camera, right? How old we are. Uh,
Your
and
age is irrelevant, but go.
yeah. But I fell in love with this organization from the opening audition. The openness that people had to singing, to sharing their stories, to being in a space together and creating beautiful music. At the time when I started 12 years ago, it was a little under 40 people. We're now at a size of about 140 people.
Wow.
It had a five-figure budget, and that has grown to well over six-figure budget. It's been an incredible decade of growth for this organization, as just the community has embraced this type of choir that just sings about love and hope.
Yeah, and I actually know several people that are in the choir. I will say I've yet to go to a concert. We're going to talk about the concert
We'll get you there. I'll send you some tickets.
Yeah, absolutely, on June 10th. But I'm going to backtrack for just a second. Something just popped in that was kind of off, that was not on our talking points. But looking at the 40 years when this started, and actually the question I was going to ask, like over the pandemic, how did that change things a little bit, or not?
Absolutely. Especially for an organization that thrives on being together, on finding community in the same shared space. We had to work really hard to create those spaces over Zoom. We put out a couple of virtual choirs, but virtual choirs, virtual means almost. And an almost choir is not the same as a choir. There's something magical that happens when bodies are in a room together. They start breathing together, heartbeats start to line up.
Wow.
So it was challenging. We had to find unique and creative ways to sort of still stay together as a team, but it was certainly a major challenge for all performing arts organizations, especially choirs who rely on breathing and mouths and aerosols. It was a tough time, but we've certainly weathered it. We've come out stronger and bigger than ever. The financial support we received from patrons and audience members and people who wanted to make sure that the music kept going has just been incredible. We're super grateful.
And there's just that whole energetic thing. First of all, when you're using your voice and when you're singing, and the energy, and again, being in a room, it's explosive.
Yes.
And as much as, thank God we had these other technology pieces in place, but there's nothing like being in person. So
Absolutely.
a segue into the Saturday, June 10th, our own kind of music, a 70s celebration. I love 70s music. Is that talk more about that?
Yeah, we're really excited about it. So, like you mentioned earlier, next year is coming up for our 40th anniversary season, and we have some serious stuff planned for that. And so
Okay,
before we got wanted to dive into some serious historical work, we wanted to just have fun. And
sure.
people love 70s music. Everybody loves 70s music. Like I mentioned, our choir's gotten to the point where we don't fit in a lot of performing spaces in Omaha. Now, some of the churches and university settings that supported us for our initial 35 years just simply aren't big enough. So it'll be at the Holland Performing Arts Center. We only perform now at the Holland and the Orpheum. We have a full 10 or 12 piece band that's playing with us. So if you like cover bands at weddings, if you like live 70s music, it's going to be incredible. There's a dance party in the lobby that's Studio 54 themed after the concert. So you can hear
Awesome.
all of your favorite tunes. You can stay and have a drink, dance, not the whole night away. OPA will, shut us down after a while, but you can dance part of the night away in the Holland lobby.
Sure. And I'm on your website too, rcmc.org. So I'm looking over this way to your website.
Yep.
There's a lot of information about concert support, how you join, shop, book you guys
Yep.
to perform at a charity event or any event
Absolutely.
for that matter, how to donate. But again, I encourage, rcmc.org, our own kind of music. I love I get the whole vibe of the 70s,
Yep.
which was, I think, just a fantastic time for music, in general. Can you give us maybe a sneak peek at some of the songs you may
Oh
be singing?
yeah. Oh yeah. So we've got a little September from Earth, Wind, and Fire. We've got some Styx, Come Sail Away, Roberta Flack's Killing Me Softly, Landslide, Desperado. There's one or two dance tunes that you might hear at every wedding that you're gonna wanna stay around for. We've got some Chicago. We've got Stevie Wonder, You Are the Sunshine of My Life. We've got Elton John, Your Song. It was an incredible
Wow.
era for music, and for a choir like this that really finds its groove, little pun intended, with America's popular song, it's just a great fit for us.
Yeah. So I have a question too, because we've got a few more minutes. So
Yep.
if somebody wants to be involved in the choir,
Sure.
do you have tryouts? I mean, what is the process of being a part of
Yep.
this?
So there is an audition. It is a audition is it, we should come up with a softer word for it, because audition automatically might get people's anxiety raised a little
Sure.
bit.
Yep.
But it is the most casual, relaxed audition. You come in, you sing for me, the assistant artistic director, and the pianist is the only other person in the room, and we just talk about how you love music, why you love music, what brought you to River City, and we figure out what your best voice part placement is, and that's what it is. If you want to be involved with the organization but don't want to sing, there's also a spot for you. We need volunteers constantly at the various events we do. You talked about being able to book us through our website. So there's all these avenues where we need volunteers. We always need patrons, but mostly we just want people in the audience, because the music is not just for us making it, although there is incredible value in just being together and making music, but sharing the stories with huge audiences. That's really what it's all about.
And how many concerts do you typically? I mean, I typically, that's not even a word anymore that
Right. Yeah.
sorry, I take
Yeah.
that back. So moving forward, I mean, how many concerts a year do you
Yeah.
perform?
So we've been doing two for a very long time. Starting with our 40th anniversary next year, we'll move to a 3 concert season.
Okay.
We'll have our traditional holiday concert. It's become a must-see on the Omaha Arts holiday calendar every year, right up there with all the best stuff you'll see in town. And then we'll add a March or April show in spring. That one next year is going to be at the Orpheum. It's going to be the SATB premiere of a musical about queer history by Andrew Lippa. It's called Unbreakable. He's the composer of Wild Party, Addams Family. You've seen his Broadway works before. And then our final concert will always be in June. It corresponds with National Pride Month.
Right.
It's always the most celebratory. Sometimes it also can coincides with CWS, so you can watch a baseball game, you can hang out in a tent somewhere, and then watch a concert and go about your day.
Yeah. And yeah, I do want to yeah, what I said was I mentioned 40 years this year, but 40 years actually is in 2024
Yep.
is when you celebrate that. And I have to forgive, I've got a blind kitty here that's
Oh,
that's wanting to join the conversation. So she may pop back over because she's like, oh, I like this.
we are an inclusive organization, so bring your kitties.
Yeah. Okay, so again, we talked about the June 10th. People can buy tickets. Come on, Sunny Bunny. A lot of people know Sunny because she's kind of a public figure too. Um, um, they can buy tickets online.
Yep.
And this event is at the Orpheum.
This one is at the Holland. Yeah.
Oh, the Holland, sorry. Okay. And I'm gonna put her on the ground, sorry. Let's Zoom is very Zoom is Zoom. So it's at the Holland.
Yep.
So anything else you want to talk about regarding the concert and what people should know? There's probably a capacity to how many people can attend space in the Holland, but can people buy tickets up to the day?
Absolutely. There are tickets available at the door. Of course, the best seats are always gone
Yep.
soon. So I highly recommend people getting to Ticket Omaha, where you can get tickets
Yep.
right now. We also have special seats reserved for donors of a certain level. So
Okay.
if you also want to be interested in really good seats that way, that's something we can work out. All of that's on the website. But yeah, at the Holland, of course, right now with the beautiful weather and the Jean Leahy Mall being such a incredible new spot downtown, you could make an evening out of it really easily, especially with the after party cash bar, raffle prizes, costume. Come in costume. Bring your kids. It's family friendly. So it'll be a great evening.
So when you say come in costume, it's like come in costume of your favorite 70s person or
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever you would wear to Studio 54, assuming
Okay.
it's family friendly, you
Yeah.
wear that
Yeah.
and come to the party.
That's awesome. Baron, thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to actually having another conversation with you as we get closer to the 40th
Great.
the 40th anniversary, but excited for this concert. And again, it's rcmc.org. So much information on the website. And we look forward to seeing everybody on Saturday, June 10th at the Holland Center.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. And folks, we'll be right back. Well, hello, my friends. I'm here with Robert Patterson, the CEO of Kids Can Community Center. I've known Robert for years, maybe decades. Great friend, doing so much good in the community. Robert, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. It has been decades. We should own that. Yeah.
Okay. Decades. I've been doing this for over 30 years, so I know it. Yeah, it's been decades. So yeah, great to see you. Lots of exciting things happening for Kids Can Community Center. Let's just first 115 years, but let's start there. 115 years. Wow. And I'm looking at your website. Founded in 1908 as the Social Settlement Association of Omaha. I'm just gonna let you take it away.
So it's amazing to me to think, and I look back and we've been going through some of our historical photos since it is kind of a milestone year. And it's always interesting to see how much has changed, but also how much has not changed. And our focus has always been on kids and family, and particularly in South Omaha. So it's always kind of fun for me to see all those different things. And I've the end of this year will be my 25th year with the organization. So I have actually seen multi-generations come through where kids that came here as kids are now coming here as parents. And that's kind of really neat for me to be able to see that coming back again and again. So it just makes me feel really special to be part of this organization and to build on the founders that did so much in the beginning and really weathered through, the first century. Like I said, this wasn't our first pandemic that this organization went. Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah, you have to look at, I mean, when you really think about that. Um, wow. And you've been there for 25 years. So again, like what I'm saying, I've known you for decades. And I mean, I've literally, you know, started our friendship or getting to know you 25 years ago. So, um, are there, so when you talk about like things are different, but also have stayed the same, can you say a little bit more about that?
Sure. So, and I look back and we kind of hit these different milestones. Like we had our first school-based program in 1916. And we kind of like to think, oh, these school-based programs are kind of new and a little bit different. And I think that
Wow.
no, we've been doing that a while. And we had our first preschool, and I think they called it the first nursery school at the time, different names for different things. And then the things that have changed is like I look back the pictures, the boys were doing one thing and the girls were doing something else. And so obviously 21st century, we can do anything we want. And so, and just kind of seeing the different, especially STEM projects. And of course, I'm more excited to see where girls might have not traditionally gotten to get into those projects. They are just excelling. And so we're
Yeah.
excited to be able to do that.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, yeah, it is interesting to see how things have changed, stayed the same, but also changed. The new building, uh, this has been in the works for how long?
Uh, it feels like decades, but it's not. So you may remember our building that we were in was built for us in 1964, and
Okay.
it served us well, but we just ran out of space and we couldn't renovate very easily, and
Yeah.
it just wasn't the environment that we wanted to do. So early on, even since day one, we knew a new building was at some point in the works, and I feel like put on my big boy pants a few years ago and did a capital campaign. I don't recommend doing capital campaigns during the pandemic, but we did. And it
And
was
how would you have
successful.
known? I mean,
Uh,
yeah, because that in
yeah,
itself, you have to have planning. I mean, to me, that in itself takes a couple, a year or two of planning before you actually launch it. But yeah, continue on. So
absolutely. So we had a few delays, of course, that kind of happened along the way, but we did officially open our doors for families January 30th. So double the square footage, double the capacity. We now have special rooms just for the out of schoolers. They used to be relegated to just half the gym, and now they have 3 rooms just to themselves and a special STEM room that we're getting ready to populate with a lot of exciting uh, STEM projects. Our
yeah.
early childhood side expanded all those classrooms, but aged down to infant care for the first time in our history. So now we
Mm,
can take kids as young as 6 weeks old. We know infant care is hugely expensive no matter what income you make. So we kind of wanted to do our part there. So,
yeah.
and it's just a better environment that, when you can build to suit, and we really kind of created these great early childhood and out of school environments that you could just come in and kids are instantly engaged. And we were before we started, I was talking about our first open house for the parents and the kids, and just seeing them come in the building and through their eyes made all of that blood, sweat, and tears worth it. Just to see
Yeah.
all the labor that we put into this is, their wishes came true.
Yeah. And I know when we talked, so the last time we had a conversation or Metro TV interview was during the holidays. And I know that you were looking at kind of things opening up at the end, the center opening up, end of January, February. Then you actually had an official ribbon cutting where you're like ready, you're ready to invite the public in. Um, so, and that's the timeline. And you want
And
to
that
say,
was actually, we did that on March 27th, and we
yeah,
picked that date because that was our actual 115th anniversary. And so
okay,
I could not think of a better day to be
yeah,
able to do that and honor the founders of the organization, and just kind of really kind of all the planets were aligned for that day. So, and
yeah.
we had good weather too.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, perfect. Perfect. And who are the founders of this organization?
so it kind of started through. So it was part of the Jane Addams settlement movement. But at the time, it was mostly kind of the wives of some well-to-do men in the area that said, "Hey, we need a social settlement here," and they kind of got together and just made it happen.
Yeah, it is interesting because it started out as social settlement. And then back in again in 1908, I mean, the community, what Omaha, is, I mean, that's where it was. I mean, it wasn't going too far past. where you're at? Because it's like 100, like, what is it? 42nd, 30,
Yeah. So we're at 48th and Q, and that was
48th and Q.
that was probably West Omaha at that point.
Yeah, that was West Omaha when they're when you wouldn't even look at it. So that's kind of where it was in these, and like you said, these women of kind of the maybe the leaders or the businessmen, philanthropists in the community at that time said, hey, we need to do this. And I find history fascinating when it comes to how organizations start. So let's talk a little bit. I want to talk about first, before we move on to the event, again, I'm kind of glancing over this way, looking at your website. So you partner with Collective for Youth, Nelson Mandela Elementary, Early Childhood Development Center, and then you also have are credited through Mentor Nebraska, because I want to talk about mentoring before I let you go. But those are some of the partnerships that you have.
Yeah. So, and one of the things, obviously, this new center is great. That's only part of what we do. So, we have over 7 school-based sites where we do after-school programming in North
Okay.
and South Omaha. So, Gilder in South Omaha, and then in North Omaha, we're at Mandela, Miller Park, Minnelusa, Conestoga, Magnet, Benson West. So we do we're literally on both sides of Omaha. So, and that's been a big change, especially in the past 10 years for us.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the Kids Can Luncheon, the Can Do Awards that's coming up on Thursday, May 4th. How many years is this?
This will be the 19th year. So
Oh
I
my
feel like
gosh,
I need to do
can you
something
believe it?
super special next year.
Yeah, so you're the 20th year, which will be 2024, but the 19th year. So what is the award? Kind of give me an overview of what the awards are all about.
Sure. So the Can Do Awards kind of came about because, we used to kind of do the typical, bring in a speaker and have a kind of keynote. And I quickly kind of realized, I'm like, we have enough special people in our own backyard of Omaha and Council Bluffs to be able to celebrate them. And so we kind of we first had a Can Do Citizen, and now it's expanded to mini awards. So the Can Do Mindset, Can Do Growth Mindset, Can Do Future Award, Can Do Hope Award, Can Do Junior Award is the one that's been going on the longest. So where we actually honor a kid that goes to Kids Can, but Bellevue University sponsors that, and so part of that award, that child gets their first college scholarship, which
Wow.
is just really to see for an 11 or 12-year-old to get their first college scholarship. And
Yeah.
talk about growth mindset, that is kind of all set there. So I'm excited because it's a celebration day, and I love
Yes.
celebrating people.
Yeah, and that's coming up on May 4th. Where is the event at?
We moved to Scott Conference Center.
Okay.
So
A nice central location. It's a great
central location. UNO and our organization were both born in 1908. So I feel like there's a lot of symmetry going on there.
Yeah. Yeah. So people, again, I'm looking at your website as I glance over here. It's kidscan.org. Easy. There's a lot of information here. You can find information about the luncheon, but all sorts of just, the about, the past, the programs, how to donate resources, how you can, contribute back to the organization. I want to talk about mentoring. Let's talk about mentoring. Yeah, let's go to mentoring. And how are you focusing on mentoring in the new center?
So that was one of the bonus points with this new center, is that we kind of created little nooks and crannies and space in the big hallway for mentoring to happen on site. And if there's one program that took the biggest hit during the pandemic, it was mentoring, because we just couldn't could not even let parents into the building at certain points. And so we got some funds to kind of hire a new coordinator and really kind of push this.
Yeah.
And we're already getting new mentor matches in. But as you know, the need is always greater than the supply.
Yeah.
So I'm really kind of pushing mentoring, because if there's many factors that make a difference in a child's life, but one of the key factors is knowing that an adult cares about them, and adult, not just your teacher or parent, but that is kind of looking out for them. So I call it entry-level mentoring here at Kids Can, because We do it on site, so you can say every Thursday at 4:30, I will be there, and we will have activities. And if you want to do baking, we can make sure the ingredients are all there for you, because we just want to make it as easy as possible. And
Yeah.
really, you just need to be there for the kid. But we also have a partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters. So
Mhm.
if the child moves or changes schools or something, if they both parties agree, they can just continue that mentorship at Big Brothers Big Sisters. And that's what I did with my own mentor. That I started mentoring Brian now 9 years ago at Kids Camp,
Oh, yeah.
and we've continued our mentorship on at Big Brothers Big Sisters. So I can't tell you how rewarding it is on my side, and not to say that you have to mentor for a decade, but we do ask for at least 1 year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that just kind of pings me a little bit. I'm going to come back and have another conversation that's a more in-depth conversation about mentoring, but people can go to your website, they can learn more, they can reach out. Is there a time of year, quickly before I leave, because we're like pretty much out of time? Is there a start time and an end time? Does it have a cycle, or can you show up in April and have it? I mean,
You can show up anytime. We will find a way to fit you in. The
yeah,
kids are waiting, and so
yeah,
we will work around your schedule for sure. So
yeah,
and it is kind of, we're asking for volunteer time, 4 hours a month. We
yeah.
easily you'll find 4 hours to quickly, binge on Netflix every weekend. So I think we can
Yep.
find 4 hours to spend time
Yeah.
with the kid.
Well, Robert, it's so great to see you again. A lot of, I mean, just so many exciting things. 115 years, a new building. We've got Can Do Awards coming up on May 4th, looking at mentoring and how important that is to children's lives. Lastly, I'll just say, hey, give us the mission of Kids Can.
Our mission is to educate, engage, and inspire kids through early childhood care and out of school programs.
All right. Well, we're going to end with that. So, Robert, thank you so much. And I look forward to chatting with you soon.
Likewise, thank you.